Hello and welcome back to the Monty Dean Show. Today I'm lucky enough to be with Crystal Ignite. How are you, Crystal?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me here. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm freaking out, but still, it's sort of following my heart and the frequency and everything else like that. Because part of the NICE program and my business is to have a YouTube channel, so thank you for coming on because I'm starting at the bottom. I need content. However, yeah, I think it's going to work out well because bit of disclosure for the viewer or customers, as I like to call them. We're filming this on Tuesday. It's coming out on Thursday. But you have a video and a single coming out on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. From now on, which is yesterday for when. See what I mean? And then on Friday, yeah, then Friday, which is tomorrow. Like, whenever. Anyway, you're here because you have a single and video.
I'm really pumped, and I'm seeing this as the real beginning of my I guess, well, I hate saying solo career because it's all under my name and I'm running everything, but I have a band as well, and they're killer. But this is the beginning of my journey, the way I see it. So under Crystal Ignite, it's really exciting and it's going better than I could have ever imagined.
How long have you been off stage? Because remember the last time, dear viewers or listeners, Crystal and I were in the same room was, 2017 or something?
Yeah. I'd actually performed in 17, 18, and I did a show last year as well for Full Stop Fest. So I still played, but not as much as what I did when I was touring. However, I've been training, so I've been doing yoga, and I'm fitter than I ever was when I was touring or anything like that. This is the fittest I've been in my life is right now. So yeah,
I would say that that's symbiotic because you look happy.
I am really happy, and I was not happy before. So it's a really amazing feeling. I'm a new woman, and I've had massive changes, massive transformations, and really took everything that the universe threw at me. I'm gonna need a drink. But I really took everything that the universe threw at me, and it's something I've become really good at. Not to toot my own horn, but I come from really difficult situations in my life, and I've always had to learn how to transform that and be an optimist because if with the challenges I've been given in my life, I would be dead right now if I wasn't an optimist, because I would have killed myself a long time ago, I went down that path once upon a time too.
Yeah, also an artist, because you can actually work through the energy because you've been creative. And so, lucky you didn't go, not writing emo shit. So, more of So it's like, the difference is you're not a victim, you're a survivor. And I know you would know the difference between the two words.
I mean, I don't even say survivor. I say that's step 2. So I've really dissected this. And look, I'm writing a book on it. I'm definitely an expert about healing abuse. And I would say I'm more qualified to speak about it than anyone who's got any kind of uni qualification, because I've actually been through it and healed it. You know what I mean? So I know I'm qualified to talk about it, and so I say that there's 3 stages, and the third stage I call is the warrior stage, and that's when you actually are no longer just a survivor of what happened, but you're somebody who you have actually thrived and used what's happened to you as a source of inspiration, transformation, and then you pass it on to help other people. And that's the stage that I'm at now in my life, where I want to be a role model for other people who have been through what I have, as well as just young women and young kids in general, and and help them and show them that no matter what gets thrown at you in your life, you can totally transform anything and use it to your advantage. And the people that are the most disadvantaged, if you get on top of that stuff and you learn what you need to, and you overcome those hurdles, it becomes your greatest advantage over everybody else who didn't experience what you did. So that's what I want to stand for, what I want to be for particularly young or adult child abuse survivors especially, but abuse survivors in general.
Yeah, just anyone with trauma. I like the term. I just like humans, because even well-adjusted people that's like have no problem. Not well, I'm not saying that they're living a perfect life, but I know people is like, well, they've got challenges, but they're enjoying life fully and they're smiling. And when I was sort of dark and depressed, it's like, yes, I love you, but I hate you at the same time. But it's just even writing and performing music. Even if in a way it's a story, I mean, it comes from the truth, but people can still connect with it. It's like, oh, okay, they do that, and also if that type of person has a friend that is going through a dark time, then have you heard of this? Like, I jokingly make fun of Korn. It's like, I love the music, but Jonathan's still whinging. However, they still today, they help people work through this stuff, which they helped me back in 97, like, over 20 years ago. And for me, I know I'm not really going to be a counselor in that way. I'm the comedian, because my thing is like, oh, it's easy to get through depression, because for me, I got out of it and I condense everything into, is like, oh, that was easy. I forget how it was in the depression. So
I'm not that way at the time.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'll just I'll do the comedy thing, and I'll go over there. So when you come out, we can laugh together. Because when I've tried to help people, it's like, you don't know what it's like. Well, not exactly. But but this analog in the back was like, oh, it's easy. But it's like, it's not. It's easy once you've finished.
You know what? It's actually easy once you know what to do. That, yes, I think is the key, because I found it because I had to, when a few years ago and my band was over and a lot of other awful things had happened, or I'd been I had to heal from some really intense stuff that happened at that time, and for the previous 10 years and stuff. So I had a lot going on, and I was getting depressed again, but I was able to get myself I avoided a depression basically, because I just implemented all of the tools that I had in place for, I was there and I'm like, all right, I'm fucking depressed. Oops. Sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
But I'm depressed, and I'm feeling it, and so now I've got to implement and remember all the things that I did the last times, because when I was a teen, I was diagnosed with chronic clinical depression. Look, I was incorrectly diagnosed with a lot of things that was just rubbish. Like, I just needed some help. I was an abuse survivor,
I just wanted to hug you, prick.
I needed to talk to someone. I needed to talk. Yeah. And I'm definitely made up for that.
Yes, I am a friend on Facebook. Yeah, exactly. So that's why it's better.
To like it, so it's all right.
You go see her on, when they see, because you're playing on Friday, it's like, she doesn't talk that much, she sings, because you gotta have the music in between. One thing I noticed getting out of the depression, in my form of depression, because the mind puts up barriers, was to feel sad again. If you understand what I mean, where it's a natural feeling of like, oh, my football team died, or whatever it is. It's because depression is different from sadness, but it's so close at the same time. And I found it interesting, a challenge of you can feel sad, usually because it's you're transferring the energy, transmuting it, and you acknowledge the pain, you work through the pain, and you move on. Depression just keeps you in a loop. So I found that interesting. Being creative is helpful as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, they say, in spiritual terms, because spirituality helped me a lot, and it's not a religion. Spirituality is about knowing your own power, basically, and harnessing your own power, and understanding about the third eye and the things that, because. Mate, if you meditate and you open your third eye and stuff, there's a whole other world of stuff out there that only people understand if they've actually got an open third eye, or work with crystals and have opened their third eye or whatever. You can do it with diet and stuff. There's so much information out there that you can do to help unblock the pineal gland. But one of the things that I say all the time, is that, and I was taught, was that depression is being sad and down and stuck within the past, and it's something you've suppressed from the past, whereas anxiety is fear of the future. They're both fear states. So they're both the opposite of love, because the equal opposite to love is fear.
Yep.
So they're both, lower vibrational fear states. And like the thing I noted, one of the best things I was seeing a psych in my early 20s. So I spent a lot of time getting counseling and stuff like that in my teens up until my early 20s. And one of the best things she said to me, and I'm still in touch with her now. Like, she's probably broken some kind of laws or something with that. But like, she's beautiful. She was amazing. It was a different bond because we met. I was a homeless kid, and I was getting counselling from, and so these people were like my role models and stuff, And she was like, just feel it. Like, I'm so depressed. I can't get out of bed. Like, I don't want to be here. I'm not feeling anything. Like, I just want to die. I'm not happy, and she was like, it's okay. Don't resist that feeling of what you're going through. Feel what you're going through. And I did. I stayed. She's like, I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed. She's like, so stay in bed. And it was the best thing I could have done. I stayed in bed and I gave my body what it was craving, which was I needed to sleep. I needed to heal. I had a broken heart at the time. I had a lot of things going on, and I just felt what I needed to feel. And when I felt it, I cried. I released. Crying is healing. The people get stuck in depression because they don't acknowledge something that's happened from the past, and it builds and it builds and it builds, and it becomes more and more uncomfortable. And it's like a coping mechanism of suppressing, so if you suppress it for long enough. And one of the dangers with the language that goes on that I see about mental health is like, I've got this illness, and then they're signed up to an illness for the rest of their life. And
they own it.
Yeah. And I can tell you right now, if I did that, this is why I'm not insensitive to people with diagnosed illnesses. I'm a perfect mental health now. I was not as a teen, but in saying that, and that was understandable and natural and normal for that to happen. And in fact, my mental health was, compared to like, other people who had gone through what I had, they had, schizophrenia and stuff like that. That's the way their brain had to cope with the trauma that they went through. It was. I thankfully I wasn't in that state. But yeah, that was the thing. So I just learnt that you have to acknowledge what has happened, but also don't become your label that you get given, because the thing is that, and I have to say as a disclaimer, this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. So
either am I.
Yeah, so if you're looking for any kind of medical advice, seek it from a healthcare professional. These are my opinions, right? But they work for me, and they've worked for other people because I share them. So like the thing is that if you want to take on these labels of what, like, it's really easy to go, because like, you know what, I had a look at, because I'm very skeptical of the whole mental health system after what happened to me, because some pretty terrible shit happened to me in that system, and I looked up borderline personality disorder, and I had a look at all the things, and I'm like, you know what, like all the points of like a diagnosing borderline personality disorder, which is this new thing that everyone seems to be diagnosed with, because then you can medicate, right? And I'm not saying that people aren't struggling with those symptoms. What I'm saying is, I had a look at it, and anyone who's going through a bad time could be diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. So, but then the danger of giving someone this label is then suddenly that they believe this is who I am. Look, I was told as a teen that I was a manic depressive and I'll be on medication for the rest of my life. And anyone that knows me knows I'm one of the happiest, most bubbly, like I inspire people, and that's because I've been to the dark places, man, and I've healed it. And so I have an energy about me of someone who's healed, and it's a good energy. And when I'm in a good place, which is most of the time, people feel good around me, like, and I have to be good because I've had to go through a lot of shit,
Also not believing someone in wearing a white coat, because I know people like my stepdad's going through stuff where he was bedridden because he got a virus. We went for a walk today, like so in the 2 years, without going too far, he was told, you're not healing fast enough, so we're going to send you home. It's like, yeah, whatever. And he's walking and he's getting his hands back and he's doing it. It's people that that's the power of the mind, where you've got 3 months to live and 3 months later they're dead, or 17 years later it's like, I didn't believe them. And so
true.
yeah.
And we're like, we could get really, I don't know how deep you want to go into this, because like you're talking about, this is my jam right now, you know, like, and like, you know, our bodies are like, I think it's 97% water, and you only need to have a look at, I think his name's Matsumoto, it's a Japanese scientist, and the test that he did on the effects of like water when you say hate and when you say love to it, and you see that those molecules change. That in itself, like the hate molecules look really like, they look like yeah, and the love ones are perfect snowflakes, and this in itself proves energy. This is the easiest way I can give someone an example and go, this energy is real, and then we can get into like manifesting and how thoughts become things, you know. And it's exactly the same with your health. Like I had a massive health issue a few years ago as well, and again I combated it, and it was because I utilized all the spiritual knowledge that I had about manifestation, about healing. And I followed my intuition as well, you know, because you get messages from, we've all got spirit guides. People don't realize this, you know. People don't know when you're getting goosebumps that most of the time it's your guides trying to communicate with you and stuff like that, because we're not taught about this stuff in school, you know.
No, of course not. There'll be free will, and you follow your heart, and that's what, you know. I do a round table every Wednesday on Revolution Radio, and I basically sort of point out that the controllers, or Team Dark as I call them, they keep you in a form of survival. You're in survival mode, and so that's why you can't tap into the multi-dimensional God am type of thing. And this is spiritual, not religious. Religion was created by man to control.
Yes. Spirituality is not created by men, you know.
No. It's spirit. And that's the thing as well. Yeah. And it's different for everybody, because everyone's different. That's the fascinating thing. The way I describe it is like, you are the center of your universe, I'm the center of my universe, and through the joy of creation, we interact and share experiences, because the kaleidoscope of everything, you know, if you know everything, if you were that is, was, and will be, you know everything, in a nanosecond, you're bored. Because you know everything. You know, I was told like enlightenment. Like I had a reading and someone was like, "You're enlightened," and she's like, "And that means you know how much you have to learn." And I said, "Yeah, exactly. That's what enlightenment is. Is like realizing like I can learn, and I can learn from the new souls. I can learn from people that actually don't know as much as me, because they do know things that I know. You have to, like, you can't think that you know." You don't know everything. And the minute that you think you know everything is when you go backwards. It's like as a musician, it's the same thing, you know, the minute you think that, I've got it all down, that's when you've hit your peak and you're going downhill. Like you have to recognize that everyone's got their story. Everyone's a teacher. And the more you take that on, and don't get me wrong, like for me, I'm a big person of you take the opportunity to share your wisdom as well that you've learned, but don't always like you got to listen. You got to listen too, especially when someone's challenging you. If it's not like some kind of like lesson about like boundaries and like dealing with narcissistic people. And stuff like that. I mean, that's different from there's a controlling. If someone's challenging your boundaries from a controlling point of view, but then you've got different paradigms. Where my mind was blown because I found out that 2 + 2 is 4. Like, I know, man, bang. It's. I mean, I've been playing guitar since '94, and I realized I can play guitar, but I have all this. You know, my next goal is to learn lead, and of course, you know, I've chosen metal. That's not easy. AC/DC is like, that I should start there because it's not simple. But that's the thing as well. I've seen people that can play stuff, but they can't write, which is fascinating. And so, because I've done stand-up,
there's a lot of that.
And then, like, I was watching a video about Mark Morton looking at people covering Lamb of God songs, and he said, he's a really good guitarist, which makes me realize I'm lucky. And it's like, well, that is true, because this, I mean, you've had a career, you've gone to the US and you tried to get somewhere, and you've taken that experience and learned from it, and I don't know if you're trying again, or you're just doing what comes naturally.
I'm not trying, I'm doing. There is no try.
Thank you, Yoda.
Yoda. Yes, Yoda and all the knowledge. George Lucas, that's a clued in spiritual man, but that's another conversation for another day.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
like, you know what? It wasn't a failure. I left the US. Still have all the same connections. My name really got out there big time, and although it wasn't, things were starting to happen, but the energy wasn't right in the project. So like, it wasn't. It was really advantageous. I'm in a great position now to drop and release again. I've already had my foot in the door there. This time, I had a interesting experience with Australia being a woman in this industry at that time, and it was really difficult for me. And it would have been for any woman. And then I wasn't shit. And so, like, that was a problem too. And there were a lot of things that it was just, I got targeted a lot, talked about a lot, bullied, but I mean, I didn't take it on. And it happens now. Like, there's disgruntled, like, 40-year-old men, that's so sad, that are from that time of when I was playing. I was a lot younger than them. And and they still like talk about me and stuff, and because their band didn't quite get as far as mine, and just awful shit like that I had to deal with. It was really like high school, like drama you normally get from women, like to be honest, because I was bullied at school by women, and it was like that, and so I had a really hard run. I really wanted to get the hell out of the country. I didn't feel I had the people who supported me here really supported me, and they were amazing, and I had heaps of fan support, which is incredible, and for that I'm always grateful. But I didn't get the level of industry support I would have liked to have, and in some ways we had to like, in this country, I did in America, but we kind of like ended up doing like international supports and not getting the support from the big national bands that we should have, because we were pulling huge numbers. And I could only put it down to, like, I didn't have beef with them, nothing. I had to put it down to that I was a woman. And it was just, there were too many things that were happening that were like, like maybe a woman that didn't want to play before the dude because I might have more energy than him, and that's often the case. I'm really energetic before.
Possibly they've got insecurities, because you are very good at what you do, and there's a reason that you're still, you're moving forward and everything else like that. I didn't read the article, but someone shared on Twitter the new Kerrang in the UK. There's an article called "Female-Fronted Bands is Not a Genre." That's the headline, and I'm like, yes, that's correct. Stop using. We're at that point, because.
Do you know?
If I can just bring up woke for a moment, I don't understand where all the labeling and everything else like that. It's like so I just translate it to like two lesbians, blah 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 blah. It's like all I heard was two humans, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? I'm going with human rights. It's like, well, I feel violated. It's like, well, I'm watching your film clip and I feel violated because you're whinging, you're playing your victimhood instead of actually thriving. In that respect.
It's interesting because I probably have a response to that people wouldn't expect. I'm of the mindset that I paid for being a woman in Australia for a long time. It was a disadvantage for a long time. Now it's an advantage. So I'm all for waving that female-fronted flag, baby. I'm gonna effing wave that flag, man, till the cows come home, because that was a big disadvantage. When I went to, it's interesting how it happened for me, because I left Australia. While I left Australia, there was a bit of an uproar about women not being in festivals and stuff like that. So there was a bit of pressure about the sexism within Australia. I wasn't in Australia at the time. I was in America, and in terms of sexism within the industry, it didn't really exist aside from sexualization. That's a big problem everywhere, but that's not essentially like the kind of sexism that I'm talking about, and they didn't have that over there. So it's a huge advantage to be a female. It was a huge advantage to be a female there, and I was treated like an equal everywhere but one place in Texas. This sound guy was like, you're not going to be some like Britney Spears band. And then I got up on stage and I absolutely rocked it. And you have to be confident. You have to believe in yourself. Like I don't want my confidence sometimes can be misunderstood as ego, and it's not. I have ego on stage, but when ego stays on the stage, it doesn't come with me. But am I confident? I have had to be confident, because if I wasn't confident in myself, I would have been eaten alive by the stuff that has gone on, the bullying, the blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't bully me anymore because I can't be bullied. I'm confident. I don't care. I will just block someone if they're doing that shit. I don't care. You don't affect me. You don't bring me down. You're my fuel. You're my fire. But coming back to that point, because I know you want to say something, but I just want to finish it. I haven't had a chance to talk at all during this interview, Monty.
I know. It's I'm mansplaining everything. I do apologize.
No, you're not at all. I'm picking on the fact that I talk so much, just because for anyone who doesn't know my humor, like I'm aware I talk a lot, and I completely take the piss out of myself. So don't worry. Like I'm with you on the criticism train to a certain extent.
Yeah. Well,
it's fronted thing.
Yeah.
Like it is female fronted, and there has been so little amount of female fronted music, and I'm not saying that's due to sexism. It's not. It's due to there wasn't as many women in the industry, and naturally you're not going to have as many good female fronted bands when there's not many of them, you know what I mean? And so women were finding their feet, and look, it takes every artist a while to develop, and but more and more there are more and more women coming up now that are on par and stuff. But there is a gap in the industry for sure, and I'm going to wave that female fronted flag, because it was my greatest, it was the hardest thing I had to do. But now I'm like, hey, it's an advantage. Like, you put a female vocal on music and it sounds different to, and so, I'm in a position of advantage now, and I'm going to take advantage of that.
Well, there is that, because you've got, is it Hailstorm? There's a band called Hailstorm. They lost the H. It's annoying. Liz, I think her name is from Hailstorm.
Lizzie,
Lizzie Hale, and there's a Ukrainian band actually touring Australia now. They just did, I think it was Adelaide yesterday, and they're doing Canberra tonight.
Oh, who are they?
Also, Ginger.
Oh, Ginger, yeah.
Where Teddy, Oh yeah, it's like just hearing Teddy, whatever her name is. Sorry, I've got Tiddy Ann McGrath stuck in my head. The parody account from Twitter. She can growl up, roughly the same as Randy from Lamb of God, and then sing sweetly as well. And it comes down to basically talent. And we're at that point, because Arch Enemy could be looked as one of the forefront type people, but there's been female fronted bands all the way through. I think just using that as the only thing, no. However, I can understand where you're coming from. Because
I don't do it like that.
yeah.
I want to be respected as a musician.
Yeah, and it is different. Like, you just look at I watched you covered My Immortal. Someone put that up on YouTube. I can't remember when or where that was. And just using I always get it wrong because I got Schweppervescence stuck in my head. Evanescence, that's their name. I love that Schweppervescence band. They're awesome. When that first album came out, that sort of jumped genres in audience style, because normies bought it type deal. And I think the slight difference is the writing between the two main songwriters, which was a shame that things happened, but the element of opera, like, I can see why Nightwish are popular for their audience as well, because of just the female operatic style. It's different enough that it sticks out on radio and stuff like that. And the thing is, what backs it up is the competency, good musicianship, and there's talent and everything else. It's not the pop scene where it's like, she's hot, she can't sing, but she's she's a millionaire. Like someone who's not like that is Taylor Swift, because she wrote songs like from when she was 15 or something like that, and
Yeah.
she's earned that. However, I don't think I want to be at that level of multi-millionaire, have to hire 15 guys to as a security, have this like that. I'd like to walk outside occasionally. I know, kind of wacky. So
for sure. I just think for me, all I know is it took me a long time to get to this point where I feel the way that I feel, and I feel amazing. And and there's this knowing in my heart that things are about to happen for me. And it's weird because some people have thought that this was the end of my career, and I know it's the beginning. And all I know is I want as many people as possible who are meant to hear the messages that I have, because I've experienced more than most people my age will see in 20 lifetimes more, I couldn't, but if we ever do an autobiography on my life, and like it would have to be like an 8 to 10 part series.
I was going to say, this is the start of volume 8. So I was talking to that extremely handsome and funny man, Monty Dean. And the idea of an autobiography came up. And dear reader, this is what you're, And
there will be one day, but it's not the time. And for now,
as long as you journal and don't let the memory start to fade.
yeah. Well, I'll do more of that. Like I do have it. My songs are place markers for a lot of the things that I've been through, even if they don't exactly, they might have been metaphoric or changed a little bit, to suit the song or whatever. But like obviously, I draw from influences of my own life, and then like influence like other things that I see other people go through as well. But like my point is, I guess I'm gonna take whatever comes, but I've definitely put the intention that I want to reach as many people as possible, because I want to do something for the planet, and it goes beyond music. And music is a part of it. It's a platform for me to do it. But like I'd do it in any artist. I act as well. I was a great actor as a kid, but I chose music because that was more healing. I needed to sing. I needed to find my voice.
They're very close, because if you're singing, you're telling a story, which is the same as acting. It's just ever so slightly different. And when you're singing, you can get into character, because I'm going to use Slayer as an example. Tom Araya doesn't want to kill Jews, when like Angel of Death. However, he knows it's just it's a story, and it's a song at something that happened in history. And so to perform it, sometimes you can, not the best song to become, but when you're singing, like the song may change meaning to you, but you're still performing it roughly the same. And it's a story in there's emotion, and so like the comedic brain just shut down. But you don't have like, say, Hallelujah sung by Randy from Lamb of God, because or Pink Floyd play death metal, Pink Floyd type thing. It's the different colors and shapes and everything do express that way.
Yeah. So did I miss the question part of that? Were you asking me a question?
No, I sometimes
cool. No,
I agree with you.
Sorry, I thought you were waiting for me to respond, so I was actually speechless for a moment there.
See now, lucky. Yeah, I know. Lucky we recorded this, so Tuesday 4:30, I was speechless.
Yeah, I know.
But going back to things are very sometimes high school. It's interesting that people still the social skills, they take it like 35-year-olds still think they're in high school, even though they've been working for 15, 17 years. And it's really annoying.
It's ridiculous, man. Like, I laugh now. I'm going to be honest, like, because I'm not ashamed. Like, I've been through a journey, but I used to get really affected by it. And it used to affect me, and it doesn't now. It's so empowering, particularly the last 3 years. I just really had a transformation with that, because somebody really, really made my life hard and did some really terrible defamatory things and stuff to me. And it was the best. See, this is the optimism again. It was the best thing he could have ever done. He made my life so uncomfortable and painful that I sat with my now wife, and I was like, I don't want to feel like I don't want to care about what people think. I shouldn't care. They are nothing to me. They're beneath me. These people.
You made a choice. Yeah, you made a choice.
And I did, and I see things from a different perspective now. So when I saw this dude, and I knew, because the thing is, they're so stupid. Like, they write some post that no one cares on Facebook because they've got nothing better to do, and they use instead of using a social media platform like I do to actually try and make a difference and help people, share a bit of joy and love, share my love with my wife, and show people what an amazing gay relationship can be. Also, how a relationship should be, because I have had a string of all bad relationships. This is a positive one. I did the right thing. I chose the right person. I'm being treated the way I finally deserve to be treated. And I want to share that with the world. And I don't give a shit if anyone doesn't like seeing my photos of Shannon and I couldn't give a rat's ass, because other people love it and other people can see it. And I want to be a role model in that respect and go, hey, this is the kind of thing that, like, you know, like, you should be getting honored and loved. And if you want public affection from your partner, then, you know, like, you should be able to do it. And you should be, if you're a woman, you should be getting treated like a queen, and you should be treating, if you're with a dude, him like a king. You know, it goes both ways.
I would say god and goddess, because that's much. Yeah, king. No, goddess.
No, god and goddess. I agree with you. Women wave flag. I was having this convo with Katia, actually, who does is doing all the paintings. I'm working with her for my current release, and yeah, she was saying women were all about, oh, I'm a goddess and and that's fine. But if we look at ourselves as goddesses, which we are, then we have to be able to look at men and see them as gods. You know, whether I'm a lesbian, but, you know, like, I see the god, I see the godliness in my male comrades, and I see the goddess in, and that's how we need to be, because we all are a piece of that goddess energy. Well, that's what we are.
Yeah, because, like, you've got guys in your band. You want, you know, if you're on stage doing a goddess thing, you want gods to stand next to you and play. It's like, oh, no, he's in the band because he sucks.
My servants.
Like, I want to. It's a G. There, bow down. It's G, you idiot, not D.
Yeah, no. Like, absolutely want to be surrounded in inspiring men, you know, and I am, and I'm really grateful. And I've got one that I'm taking under my wing, who's a very inspiring dude. He's only 20. He's playing guitar for me, and I'm really, he's already a star, but my God, like, he's going to be such a star. You know, because he's not even in his, like, wait till he hits 25, 26. You know, I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the world domination campaign, because that starts this week. What can you tell? Like, the video, when does the video go live?
Tomorrow. Almost.
Tomorrow's 24 hours. But that's 24 hours long. Like, can you tell us a time? I mean, because of time travel, it's already been released when it comes out.
I'm trying to have it drop at 11:11, but I'm annoying my publicist with all my numerology stuff.
If I may, pet peeve, its release. I don't drop it. Like, I'm the only person on the planet. It's like, I'm dropping an album. Why? Release it. What's wrong with it? I released my boyfriend. No, I dropped my boyfriend. You know what I mean? They're still negative. Anyway, but yeah, 11:11 would work. And because being Melbourne time, 11:11, and that would be still 11 all around the planet when it goes up. So.
Well, we'll see. It might go up a bit earlier than that, but tomorrow is a Master 11 day, which, if you calculate the date together with the year, tomorrow is an 11 day, and that's why I chose that for this. But because for me, I work with Earth Magic, and that is something that works for the energy of my project. And I'm an 11 myself. I'm a Master 11 in numerology. So
do you know where Wednesday comes from?
No.
It's Norse, and Woden is a different way of saying Odin. So God's Day.
Oh. Well, there you have it. That's perfect.
Yes.
That's perfect then.
And Thursday's Thor, Friday's Freya, and then you get into the planets Saturn, Sun. Sunday, I'll let you figure that one out. And Monday is Monday is Moon Day. I keep forgetting what Tuesday is. It's just really weird how. And the months are from Rome. and because they added two July and August, which is Julius Caesar and Augustus, those 2 months. September, October, November, December, which is 7, 8, 9, 10, are completely wrong because they're out by two. They're out by two.
Happened with the patriarchy, and it's, you know what, it's not I'm not being sexist towards men. That like that particular, was it like the patriarchy that's happened? This isn't anti-men. It's just that there was an agenda, obviously, to wipe out magic, wipe out female power, because women's power, not that men don't have this ability as well, but naturally women are naturally, they can be their creator. Obviously, they're the ones that give birth. So creativity comes natural. And you'll notice with men that are creative, they're very in touch with their feminine energy, because it's a feminine energy that connects to the emotion. You know, men are like the protector, the hunter, the gatherer, like, you know, we can't have one without the other. We need, you know, that balance. Even as a leso, you know, I still want to open the door for me, and, you know, like, I'll call a guy if I need help, you know, if I'm physically outnumbered.
Well, that's the church was pushing down the divine feminine because they can't control, and so I'm not a fan of the
women were powerful. They didn't like the power that women had, you know, because women were making potions and doing things and spells and whatnot, and they didn't like that, and it scared them, and our abilities of femininity scared them, and and it threatened
as well as their structure. Their structure, because from the masculine side of things, get rid of the wizards and all the pagans and everything else like that. And this is not having a diss at the person that they call Jesus now, because for me, good example of what we possibly can do. But then you've got man-made religion coming in, and so like, read this book. Well, you know, I don't trust journalists now, and I can't read Aramaic, so I'm not going to read your book, which is full of contradiction and everything else like that. Condense it all into 4 lines, which is love everybody, respect everything, do no harm, but don't take any crap either. So
that's a good way to live, you know. And that's it. They transcribed these things, and they had an agenda, and that was the problem, you know. And it's kind of, and then it's really sad, because then a whole other religion of atheism, that's a religion, a belief in nothing, and then, you know, and that's really dangerous too, because it completely discounts everything magical, everything spiritual. And, you know, I want to
coincidence. It's all coincidence. It's not synchronicity.
We're obsessed with facts and data and science, and don't get me wrong, like science, there's going to be a day, and I know, I feel intuitively, it's in my lifetime, in your lifetime, in our lifetime, where science is going to be able to prove the stuff that we see when we meditate, and the things that spiritualists know that we can't give you the scientific data, because we're not scientists, you know, science hasn't developed that far yet to prove we know.
Yeah, because true science is always searching. Like, scientists used to like look at nature and go, how does that work? Now you have funding and corporations. It's like, how can we control that? And there's that difference between true science and science at the moment. Being Australian. It's like, you know, I should buy a white coat because I'm a god, and they'll get some funding. So, hey. And yet, no, it doesn't work. So, and also, you're supporting Mammal on Friday. So the video's coming out yesterday due to time travel, and then so I can't wait to hear that. Which, you know, we didn't get a promo, but I'll listen to it tomorrow. There'll be a link in the description if you're on YouTube, and I think hopefully in the blurb in the podcasting thing. So, as I said, it's my second day. Supporting Mammal, which I'm not sure if you know about. Apparently, Nick, the bass player, is leaving Mammal after. So a very special moment to be partying, and a good send off. And I think they've got a gig in East Gippsland or somewhere the next day. Quickly talk about the joy of, you know, playing on Friday, and what can we expect, and then anything else planned at the moment, or you're just releasing the song and seeing how it goes?
All right. Well, there's a lot planned. There's a big grand plan and in place, and there is one. There always has been. So I'm going to do that show on Friday. I'm really excited. It's come full circle. It's really interesting because Mammal gave my very first band before my last one our first big opening show, and it happens that I'm opening for this one as well. And so I thought it was really awesome, and the guys there have been supportive of me, and I'm really grateful for that across my journey. So yeah, that's really amazing. So I'm really very much looking forward to that, and also getting to see Rival Fire as well. So yeah, that's on Friday at the SB Gershon Room. We're on at 8:30 p.m. So come early. And then it's party time, because like we had to look. I agree.
You're about to say something, aren't you?
I'm going to tell you what I did to the poor boys. All right, so look, and there was enough time, but somebody's schedule, Jared's schedule, was really, really busy, and he couldn't fit all the writing sessions in. We had enough time, but he couldn't fit the writing sessions in, and we ended up in a position where we have had to cram at the last minute. So we're doing a 6-song set. We've only got a half-hour set, so that's perfect. Yep. 2 of the songs are from my old band. It's the only time I'm going to do this, and it's only because it'll be cool because there'll be some old Ballasira people there as well, I'm sure, because we shared fans with Mammal and that time, in that time period. And like that, there's a couple of Ballasira fans that are coming. Actually, there's quite a few coming from New South Wales that I know of, which is cool. So, and then 4 originals. But the thing was, we had to get the three of the originals written in a 6-week time. Yeah. But I knew
it's art. No one will notice. No one knows. It's all art. So it sounds different this time. Like, it's just a interpretation.
2 of them are ready to record, bar a few like extra layers and stuff like that. One of them we're going to edit a bit more. We just got it gig ready, but it's great, but it's for the recording. But we're paying 4 singles, 4 of our new.
Oh, cool. Well, it's use it as marketing, because you're seeing how the songs are playing, especially in this day and age. It's very hard, like Metallica play a new song just to see how the crowd interacts. And then 3 minutes later, there's 17,000 YouTube channels sharing it. It's like, oh, well, because there's no sort of spontaneity type thing. So don't be surprised if people put it up, but at least you can see the reaction from it.
Yeah,
from
absolutely.
Playing the stuff. Yeah. And also with I'm going to say the Belarus, your past band. Still, I've been saying it wrong for a decade. Yeah, I get it wrong for over a decade. You have that collection of songs to pull out at any time and make it special. So
absolutely, just for this, it's just for this, and it's only because we've got some other awesome tracks that we're working on, but I didn't want to rush them for live, and I wanted to save some stuff for our next show, which I will announce after, out of respect to Mammal. I'm going to wait, and I'll announce that on the Monday, and I've already got the lineup organised. It's a killer lineup. So I'm really excited about that, and it might be my second single launch. Pending a few things. We're actually, my publicist said, let's see what happens with Black Mamba, which is the first single. Mind you, I have come out with, this single is the heaviest single that I'm doing. So my plan was a little different than usual, and I wanted to just come out, and this was the song of that time. It's a nice opening track for me to come out with, because it's like, it starts with, they thought I'd died. I've been underestimated all my life. But it's very much, it's not a sad story. It's like, it's a one to pump people with inspiration, and a little bit of an FU to the people that treated me differently.
Success is
true colours.
Success is the best revenge.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. And so every person that discounted me, dude, anytime I upset me or whatever, because I don't know, man. What's interesting? The accomplished musicians in Australia have treated me with a lot of respect, and I've got their respect, and it's amazing. But the ones that haven't achieved like those, it's like they don't want, not all of them, but some of them, it's like I've had an energy of that, they don't want to see me get anywhere, and they didn't return favors.
it's a basic jealousy
jealousy.
because
Yeah,
well, why is she popular apart from all the work and the talent and the
because I
writing
worked
of the
my ass
songs
off.
and the people like their music and so like why am I? Oh, that's right. I don't
Yeah,
write songs and I don't do anything.
yeah,
No,
like I
I am,
feel.
and dear customers, I am describing myself. I'm not jealous of Crystal. It's like I should do this because I look at other bands which I don't mention. It's like I could do that. I probably won't write as good as them, but I still should at least try. So I
Absolutely. Man, I just believe good things happen to good people who work hard. And sometimes good things happen to bad people who work hard, but I think that for the most part they're not happy because people that do bad things to people are not happy people. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And not that
yep,
all people that are sad are not good people. Heaps of good people are sad. But you
yeah,
know
but
what? I don't want to
it's
misunderstand what I'm saying. But
yeah, how people cope with that sadness is they can attack other people or
yeah,
they make a
yeah,
choice. I want to get better, and they
yeah.
realize, oh, okay.
But
Also, with playing those two songs,
yeah.
having Nick his last gig, and it's that full circle. Just tell people that while you're playing it. Not because we don't have material. It's like, well, it's the last gig with Nick, and they helped us at the start. Blah blah blah. Just between you and me and everyone listening. No one will know.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because I wrote a full album that I scrapped,
Yeah,
and then some. But I didn't want. I only want to play stuff that is in line with this this sound. I'm producing the music, and this sound was a sound I've been chasing for a very long time,
yeah,
but didn't have the right because I obviously don't play all the parts. I have to have the right team. I
yeah,
produce. I do write some of the parts that I'll sing, and I'm a part of that. And I
yeah,
produce
yeah.
guitars. I produce all of that. But I have to have really talented musicians to work with, and I do. I've got, and not that I haven't worked with really talented musicians in the past, but these ones are the right combo for the sound that I've been
It's
chasing
the
for
right.
so long.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
on the same wavelength,
Yeah.
on the same page, same
Yeah.
paragraph, same
Yeah.
sentence. Yeah, it's that type
So
of thing.
the criticism I saw of Balasira from people who liked Balasira or who were fans of Balasira, that were critical, in reviews. So like, like I read one and it was my gripe with Balasira is they weren't really original, which is interesting because in America we were very original for them.
Yeah,
But I think in Australia, because they hadn't, it was just all about the prog and all about carnival back then,
yeah,
and so if you sounded like rock or whatever, to people here it wasn't original because they weren't really as diverse. It's changed in Australia in a good way. People are a lot more diverse since Gent's come out. Or I mean, look, Gent's been around for a while, but since it's been a hit, and people are getting a bit more experimental. And 12
yeah,
Foot Ninja as well, which
yeah,
admittedly I only got into the band more recently over the last few years, and I've become a big fan of their work. I really appreciate what they've done and what they're doing, and the musicianship and the
yeah,
originality. I
yeah,
really respect that so much, and they've influenced me, as well. And but it's been a great thing for the Australian industry because I've noticed coming back, everything was different, and there's different people here, and there's not as many genre stuff. I found Australia to be the live scene to be real genre snobs, So there were people like, I'm not going to listen to Balasira because it's not prog, like that
yeah,
kind of thing. Whereas we didn't get that in America. People loved us when we played, and people were like, you're so original and you're so that and blah blah blah. But I didn't want to do what we'd already done there again. It's been done,
yeah,
to death, and not just by us, by other bands. And yeah, we could have pushed. I don't know. Well, all I know is we've done something original this time, and it's not.
yeah.
You won't be able to compare it to Balasira, and I've shown a few other old like diehard fans, and they've been crying. They're so happy. I'm not shitting you. Like I'm getting
Yeah.
emotional because they're I thought
It's
what you were doing was like that was it, but now hearing this, it's
yeah,
worlds apart from what
it's
I
all
was doing.
yeah, it's all part of the timeline and it's the progression.
Yeah,
I was
you grow.
actually when 12 Foot Ninja came out, when they released their first EP, I was doing a show on PBS here in Melbourne, And because of Steve and I had mutual friends, someone suggested to me, and I actually still have it. I've got a pre-EP, like a promo EP. I think he made 4. And I've asked Steve this, and apparently I was the first person to play 12-Foot Ninja on the radio. So,
really? There you go. And so that's full circle there too.
Yeah, and so I jokingly said to Steve, like, I can leave now. My work here is done. And they headline the corner. So when I'm standing there.
Well.
So,
they're not shit. They're not shit. They're really amazing.
I think they're recording a new album because
they are.
at the moment. So it'd be interesting.
It's supposed to drop. I'm up with all their stuff now. So no, I'm really happy for them, and that's awesome. And like I've come back to. I feel really positive about the Australian scene. There is a point to what I was saying ages ago, and that is like I want to enjoy being part of the Australian music scene now, and I'm wiping the slate clean and giving it another try. And I'm not jaded. I've let go of that stuff and I think that's part of it too. You know, just letting go and just being like, you know what, it's a new thing now, and people are really supportive, and I'm connecting with people that were around in the time of Balasira but never worked with me and stuff. I'm connecting with other people, and they're different energy. They're really positive, and some people from the past as well that are good vibes. But I'm collecting a group and new people to play with, but I only want to play with good vibes. So I've got this rule: no ego. I don't want to hang out with people with ego problems who are jealous. I don't and I can sniff it from a mile away. Like, I know when people are like that.
It doesn't resonate. Yeah. Well, that's sort of like why we're talking, because we've known of each other for decades. I think I got the second EP when I was on PBS. I played 1 or 2 tracks. Hopefully you got some APRA from that, because when it was APRA week, I think once every 3 months, you just play all Australian music. So just slide that in.
Awesome. I missed what you said you were playing. There was a glitch. Were you saying that was playing my Blast Band's EP?
Yeah. Second. I think it was the second. I think it was the second EP. The one with why have I gone blank? Zeke.
I forgot about that. Was so long ago. I forgot about that whole thing, and it was funny. Like, some of the songs I've forgotten about. They were playing them on the other interview I did, and I was like, I forgot I even wrote that song. I forgot I did a song with Zeke. I forgot about it. Like, it was like that. It was that long ago. It was like another lifetime ago.
Be careful, because like you'll sell millions of records, and eventually you can release a box set, and some of that stuff people may want to or definitely say new fans, there may be an urge to release the songs, because I know when I not your urge, the fans urge, because
it's not gonna happen. I'm just letting everyone know.
Okay, shut up.
Like there's dynamics there that I can't engage with, and that's why it's not going to happen. That's all I
say. We don't have to. However, when I discovered Led Zeppelin, I know of Led Zeppelin, I've heard all the songs, but then I'm going to listen to it. They've got 12 albums. When you find a band, 12-Foot Ninja, they've got 2 albums and 2 EPs, and it's like, you get all this thing at once, and you get their timeline in a row. So
that
it's
catalog.
Fun.
That's how it was for me, because I hadn't, and I listened to it, and it was after I had a good chat to Nick. He came up and had a talk to me, and I'm like, I'm really on the same page as this dude, and with some of his views he was talking to me about, and I sat with it and listen to their stuff, and I was like, I can see what everyone is on about, and so I loved it, and so I've listened to all of it. I've really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see what their next album is, and it's really cool, and I love seeing how vibrant and colourful the scene is now, and that there's a lot of really beautiful people in the scene and good vibes, and a lot of beautiful musicians with good energy who are not ego maniacs. I can't stand it. Like these people, you know what annoys me, Monty? All right, because I've been around for a little while, been around the block for a little.
Yeah.
All right.
We just turned 16, both of us. I understand. Yeah.
And I'm looking great for my age. But these new bands that like want a bit like that are expecting like how do I articulate this? The newer bands that are like expecting people to treat them like they've been around for 10 years and have, and demanding high guarantees. It's such a wank. And, just expect it. Like, just be happy with where you are. If you're a new band, you've been around for a year or whatever, like just shut up for a little bit and experience things and don't be like, because to us who have been around for a while, like you can see those people with that, it's an unattractive ego energy thing. And it's something you do when you're a novice, when you're new. And it's, because like you let it get to your head, like I'm on a stage and normally like you're pretty shit, but you think you're really good. Like that kind of thing. Like don't be that person. Be respectful to the people who've been around, before you, who've paved the way for you. And, and don't be like, throwing your weight around with all these demands and stuff like that. Because when you are worthy of people offering you guarantees and, just, being automatically like recognized as a headline actor and all that kind of stuff, you will be treated that way. People, you can't demand that kind of, you know what I mean? Like you need to earn your stripes. And I'm sorry, like most of us who have had any kind of success, and I had success. Like I had success. I got signed to the Evanescence drummer. I've had success and assigned to a label. I toured the world. Lots of famous musicians in the US know me, and like that was success. So it wasn't the kind of success that I wanted, but I also learned to go, no, I had success. I had more success than most people ever have as an Australian musician already.
Well, I was going to say,
near where I want to be, but
like in the timeline, in the timeline is we've been playing in a band for a year, and I'm the shit. It's like, have you recorded anything? No, shut up. Or it's like, we released a single. Did it sell? No, shut up.
The thing is that like you need to earn your stripes, and you need to remember, like I slept on floors in Los Angeles for my dreams. Like I have suffered for my art. And I'm not saying everyone has to suffer to be successful. No. But what I'm saying is my idols, my heroes, like Kurt Cobain and stuff like that, I like they suffered for their art. They paid their dues, and I mean, shit, they killed it. It was amazing. But I respect people that have done those things and not ones that are like looking for the magic door and automatically demanding people treat them a certain way when they haven't earned their stripes. So I'm not saying you treat people differently. I mean like being egotistical and like, making demands and being wankish about pays, and also not like thinking you're too good to promote a show. Like I've had bands that I put on. Yeah, and they were supporting me, and I knew none of them had promoted. So I thought, well, you know what? You haven't held your end of the deal. So what I did was I said, all right, well, I'm counting at the door who's here for who, because at the end of the day, you didn't promote, and I'm going to pay you $10 a head, which was most of the money, so I wouldn't get a cut for any person that said you were through the door, that they were there for you. And this one lineup I did, and the other bands bought 5 people.
Ooh,
5.
Yeah.
So that's 1 per band member. That is so shit. And like it was just all us that did it. And it wasn't cool because I'm not ready to at that time I couldn't pull 400 people and sell the venue out. All I asked them to do was 20, 30 people a band.
Yeah.
Which is nothing for a support. And all it requires is a little bit of effort, just a little bit, like And they did it. And then they were shitty at me because I'm like, you didn't bring anyone. I've lost money because of you. And I bought 150 people, as you can see. Like me and my band, not just me, but all of us. And I don't like that kind of attitude because for me, I hate it. I loathe it. And I don't want to work with people like that because I had to work so freaking hard. I had to work way harder than a lot of other people had to work because I was a woman in that climate at that time, in this country, in this genre. And so I'm not going to, I don't respect that, and I don't want to work with anyone who's like that.
It's the mindset now. Like unlike say like Iron Maiden, where Bruce Dickinson projects to the back of the room. Like when you're on stage, you play to the whole room as a stadium. However, everything else, when you're off stage, you think you're playing to the stadium. It's like the room holds 100 people. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And 3 people have turned up to see you. Stop thinking that you're playing a stadium.
Don't be a wanker. And don't expect, because you just dropped your first couple of film clips or whatever, that like suddenly everyone needs to like treat you differently. Earn your stripes, and you don't need to demand respect. You'll just get it. You know, and that's what, and that's something. Look, I'm not saying I didn't make mistakes and I didn't have, I did. I made mistakes. I let things get to my head sometimes earlier on in the piece and stuff, and I learnt from those times. I got my karmic lessons with that stuff, but I didn't do it to the level that I'm seeing some people do it.
It's like, scoreboard. You look at the numbers. It's like, we've released a film clip, 3 views. Well done. But other times it's like, it'd be interesting to chart how many views you get, and you'll see how the knock-on effect, because I'm sure it's high quality and you put your heart into it, and it's your awesome. I hate the term "yes, queen." It's like, shut up. It's like, but still, it's if you're in tune with yourself and you want to create, and it's you're authentic. That's the word I'm looking for.
Authentic.
If you're being So thank you for popping onto the Monty Dean Show. I hope you had fun.
Thanks. I did. I had a good chat with you, and if I can just say, I've like literally just launched everything under my name. I've wiped my Spotify clean. It's about to have my new single on it tomorrow, which is your yesterday. And I'd love you to come in and check it out. And I'm really excited. And we're going to be releasing new material. So I've got a series of singles. I've got like 7 singles. So
all right.
So it's just a few. Like I've just poured out. I'm really excited. It's like. I just want to talk about the music, just if it's okay, just a tiny second. Is that okay?
Oh, I suppose you are a musician. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Yes. So it's like we've called it dance heavy, and it's basically we've taken. I wanted to find a prog gent influenced guitarist, but I wouldn't call the music prog gent. Oh, it's prog meets electronica meets hard rock meets. It's Michael Jackson, but it's modern. There's so much. There's so much in that sound. But it's like it's heavy music you can dance to, and it's like it's the goal is that I want people to leave inspired. I want to touch on the dark parts of people, because I've been there, but I want to get there in the feels, and then I want to help you release it. I want to bring it out. I want to rise you up. That's it, and that's what the lyrics are about as well. And like I'm really excited. So I'm pumped. I'm so pumped to release this, and there's going to be a series of videos, and then we don't know when we're going to release the album. We're just going to see, like it will be. It looks like it'll be ready this year, and we'll see. My publicist will know the right time to do it. And thank you to everyone who's been patient, because the fans have been amazing. And understanding that, like, because I did a crowdfunding thing, and and I hate not delivering what I promised, but I rewrote the album, so they've had to wait a long time. But I'm so grateful that they did, and I promise it's going to be worth it. It already is. You just haven't heard it yet.
Well, I'll ask now. I'll probably see you in 6 months then, because you got to release an album in the start of the final quarter, just before Christmas, because people buy presents. And so I think it'll be interesting to see the journey from today to the next time you're on, because you'll have stories and you see up and down and everything else like that. So, and also, I need guests. So I need repeat
I'll
customers.
Come back, man. I'm always up for a chat.
Cool. Well, I'm very open. So I'll just end off there now and stop the recording. So for those on YouTube, if you liked what you saw, subscribe, comment, share, and leave a comment. Also, the all the links for Crystal will be in the description as well. If you're on just an audio podcast, we're waving at you now. See you soon.
Yeah.